Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, and welcome to, well, more Space Quest, actually. That's what we're doing today. I hope you've enjoyed our trek through the Space Quest series so far. We've gone through the first official 6 games. We've gone through Mulvale Strikes Back. We've gone through Space Quest Incinerations, and that kind of brings us up to, well, the end of the series, as it were, with, at least where's Roger going, what's in his future, and all that. There's nothing beyond this. So all we can do now is look back upon ye glory days. But don't worry, there's still plenty of stuff to peruse, to savor, to enjoy. Shut up. What we're going to do now is circle right the fuck back to Space Quest 1, The Sarian Encounter, because back in 1991, Sierra Online had the brilliant idea to remake the original Space Quest 1 from 1986, and they wanted to do this, I don't know, mainly because the SCI-1 engine was out. The SCI-1 engine was the one used for King's Quest V and Space Quest 4 and a bunch of, basically the golden era of Sierra, if that rhymes. The original was, as we all know, made in AGI, which was 160 by 200 pixels, 16 colors only, stretched to fit on a CRT monitor, blocky pixels, beautiful blocky pixels. But now with the SCI-1 engine, we had 256 color VGA, we had a glorious MT32 soundtrack, we had bells and whistles, digital sound effects, bells and whistles up the ass. So of course, what Sierra decided to do, round about the start of the 90s, was to remake all of their old classics, the first games in each of the series. So Police Quest got a remake, Leisure Suit Larry got a remake. King's Quest didn't get a remake because they'd already made one in SCI 0, but that's a story for a completely different YouTuber than me. And of course, Space Quest got a remake, and here it sort of is. This is by far the most fucked up game box I have. It is irrevocably in 2 pieces. It is very, very flat, flatter than it should be. And this is not even the original release. This is the Kix, or Kixx re-release. And I'm not entirely sure who Kix are, but they're sort of the, now that's what I call music of the game verse, I guess. They basically released a lot of these, by this time, old games. I don't know when this came out. 1993 is when they released this version of it. It's in this box. It came on a CD, and the original VGA version of Space Quest 1 came on floppy disks. There's no voiceover. Gary Owens is not in it. And although it came on a few floppy disks, it certainly didn't warrant a CD release, because we are still talking way under, I don't know, 20 megabytes. How big is it? It's 5. It's 5 megabytes of size. Okay, so 5 megabytes on a 640 megabyte CD-ROM, which is weird, so they packed the CD, I'm holding this the wrong way, they just packed this full of demos from other companies, Dynamics, Cocktail Vision, and strangely, LucasArts and SSI. So this CD, which has now been lost to the ethers, I don't know where it could have gotten to, it just had a bunch of demos on it, and then Space Quest 1 VGA. But yeah, I have the box. It's hideous, which is probably why it's in the state that it's in, but wouldn't you know it, if you go on GOG and buy the Space Quest collection, guess what you don't get with it? That's right, Space Quest 1 VGA is strangely missing. And this is strange in particular because I remember a time when, if you bought the Space Quest collection on Steam, then you got the VGA version only and not the original EGA from 1986 version. I don't know how this works. Point is, I couldn't find a legal digital copy of it, so what do? Well, I don't have the CD for that box anymore, so I pulled out the Space Quest collection CD-ROM that I have. This has been similarly mistreated over the years, so when I got out the disc, I was like, is this even gonna read? Because it's it doesn't really show up on camera, but it's a bit dinged up, and I don't have a CD-ROM in my computer, like as in a CD-ROM drive, so I went to the thrift store and got one of these bad boys. It's a USB CD-ROM drive. It's actually a DVD drive. I wasn't even sure this was gonna work, so I just plugged the thing in, crossed my fingers, toes, and other appendages, and just hoped for the fucking best. And lo and behold, it actually installed. So we can now play Space Quest 1 VGA. Now, why would we want to do that? What was the reason for remaking a game like Space Quest 1, you may ask? And I guess it was mainly because Sierra at the time thought, well, we've come so far, haven't we? From 1986, 7, 8, 9, 5 years since the original one. So we might as well, no one's going to go back and play an adventure game that has blocky pixels and only PC speaker sound. We need to revitalize this old classic. Bear no mind to the fact that it suffers from a woeful amount of design fallacies and dead-end situations and all that. We are industry leaders. The public will acknowledge our greatness or something. I don't know. Anyway, they made it. However, the two guys from Andromeda themselves were at the time busy making Space Quest 4. So they didn't really have much input in this version of the game. And it is, at this point, pretty well known that Scott Murphy, at least, absolutely fucking hates Space Quest 1 VGA with a passion. And the reason for that is multiple-fold. First of all, he doesn't like the tone of it. He doesn't like the retro sci-fi art style that the game has. And the art style was done, it was designed by a very talented dude named Douglas Herring, who has worked on many a fantastic Sierra adventure game. And no slight against Mr. Herring's talent in anything, but the retro 60-ish, 50s, 60s science fiction-y stuff didn't gel with how Mark and Scott thought the Space Quest series should look. It should be forward-looking, futuristic, and it should be more comic booky. And Space Quest 1 VGA just looks like a Buck Rogers cartoon or series. That was live action, was I don't fucking know. Anyway, and number two, it was more or less made behind their backs. Basically, Ken Williams sent off people to remake Space Quest 1 VGA while the two guys were busy doing Space Quest 4, and by the time the game was almost done, he calls Mark and Scott into his office and says, look, we've remade Space Quest 1. What do you guys think? Here, go off and play it, and give me a list of things you might like to, change, or any alterations you might like. And Scott Murphy goes off, plays it, and compiles a very long list of things he doesn't like. Goes back, hands that over to Ken Williams, and says, you know what, this is absolute shit, we don't like it. And here's a list of things that I would like to change about it. And Ken says, sorry, too far in development, can't change any of that. Here you go, off it goes. So off into the ether, Space Quest 1 VGA goes, and is absolutely reviled by the creators of the original. It does have things going for it, though. Even if you don't agree with the art style choices that were made, there is no denying that it does look really, really good, at least from just a purely artistic standpoint. I mean, the style is consistent all the way through. There's some lovely rotoscope animation in there. The soundtrack by Mark Siebert and Ken Allen, mostly Ken Allen, is absolutely fantastic, one of the best in the series. And there is some very colorful and unique writing to this game that was written by Josh Mandel, again, uncredited, as is his lot in life, apparently. So a lot of extra descriptions were added. A lot of really good humor has been added to this version. It does not fix any of the problems that the original had. You can still get stuck with the glass shard. You can still get fucked with the slot machine, although they did add a little cheat into that one, which I'll show you. And they basically didn't change a thing about the design itself. It's still exactly the same as the original game. It just looks and sounds a bit different. And whether or not that's your cup of tea, well, I'm not here to judge. However, I will, so I'm going to anyway. This version sucks, I don't like it, but in the interest of completionist, we're gonna power through it. So let's do it. Space Quest 1 VGA coming at ya. Welcome to Space Quest Chapter 1, copyright 1991. Even the sign doesn't fucking work. It's a very flaccid sign now. Roger Wilco in spinning basketball. The Sarian Encounter. And they were really big into color cycling around this time. Remember I went on about this whole thing about how color cycling was absolutely brilliant, and Space Quest 4 was the first game that came out of Sierra that used color cycling, and I guess this was the second. That comet moves backwards. Has anyone ever noticed that? It's really, really strange. Why does it do that? Directors Scott Murphy. Bullshit. Do not listen to their lies. He didn't direct squat on this. He complained a lot, but that's about it. Music is fantastic, though. I'm just grooving to the music. Ken Allen did, he did most of the score. Let's say about 85 to 90% of the score. Game designers, that credit is correct. They basically just lifted the design from the original. Warts and all. Ah, and there he is, the trout himself, Mr. Herring. Who, again, didn't do a terrible job or anything. He just designed some really strange retro graphics and decided that looked very Space Questy, and it totally wasn't. Also, most of the actual art was apparently outsourced to a Korean facility because Sierra looked at The Simpsons and decided that, if they can outsource all their art to Korea, why can't we? So I guess these remakes were also sort of a litmus test to see if, the Korean guys could handle the sauce or whatever. Also, it seems I misspoke. Mark Siebert did not compose for this at all. So, I guess we can move that 85 to 90% up to a full whopping 100. As we join our story, the crew of the ARCADA is returning home to Xenon after a successful mission developing the Star Generator. Exhilarated by their accomplishments, they are oblivious to the fact that a sinister craft approaches rapidly from behind. Yeah, really scary one. Oh, avert your eyes, children! This is how baby spaceships are made. Also, I don't know what they were smoking, designing a giant ship that looks like a beetle or an ant or something, and the little ship looks like a chicken. Little Colonel Sanders thing going on there. Whee! Gotta look at the droid. A somewhat spastic research droid blows by in a tiz. Perhaps you could provide some relaxation therapy instruction to reduce its level of tension. Why would I? You're startled by the sound of an alarm. Breaking through it, the intercom crackles with the frightened voice of a technician shouting that the ARCADA has been boarded by unknown intruders. The transmission ends abruptly in a soundstorm of white noise, soon overtaken by the cold din of silence.
Destruct sequence is engaged. 15 minutes till detonation,
said the overly cheerful voice of the ship's computer. And thus begins our quest. Red alert! The light's flashing. Let's see, that seems to ring a distant bell. Oh yeah, now you remember. It means that all living things now aboard the ship could die due to some disastrous situation that currently exists. Whatever the case, some personal hide preservation is in order, said Sean Connery apparently. Alright, well let's fucking mosey on out of here. Yeah, it's gonna do that a lot. Full disclosure, I'm running this in Scum VM because fuck that, I'm not messing around with DOSBox with this game. The timer, the game's timer is bugged up the ass somewhat fierce. If you run this through DOSBox and don't have your settings set all right and, the timer cycles is the word I was looking for. If you don't have that set correctly, then the screen will shake every second, really, and Roger's head just goes headbanging like you would believe, and I hear footsteps. Can I make it? Can I make it to the other screen? Yeah, I can. Cool, because we need to be here. This is all that remains of Jerry, one of the few techno dudes aboard the ship who sometimes tolerated your company. I was ad-libbing like a mofo. Your low clearance excluded you from visiting him during the performance of his duties in the elegant lower-level airlock of the ARCADA. One of the things I really appreciate about this, few and far between though they are, is how Josh Mandel wrote these lines to sort of, you know, give the crew of the ARCADA some humanity. If you look at all the corpses around the ARCADA, they all have names, and Roger identifies their profession and such. Kind of brings home the, you know, the tragedy that has occurred. In the original Space Quest, you're just basically wandering around and pixels are littered on the floor. These guys all have names and occupations and a lot of bullet holes. Let's, I don't know, swap them. You search Jerry's body and find a key card. And you don't have to take key card, which is always a plus. Alright, so let's mosey on back and go through to the room. I'm gonna hear footsteps again. Yeah, but we can make it. We can make it, Roger. I trust in you. Completely. And this should trigger the arrival of Mr. Lab Scientist. The door opens. A man you recognize as one of the head lab scientists stumbles into the room. He appears to be in serious need of some Abdo-Seal abdomen filler. Which I didn't know was a thing, but it is. After only a few steps, he hits the floor with a disconcerting thud. Now, check out this buffo motion rotoscoping action. Look at this dude. Blech. I have fallen. I got the theatricality on this dude as well. Alright, so have a chat with him. I mean, he's about to bite it. Might as well get a conversation out of him. Hello! His lips move, as do most people's lips when they talk and speak.
The star generator is in danger. The ARCADA is under attack. You'd better get off the scow. If you value your life, we'll go. Even my fabulous beard could not save us.
Just before his system ceases all functions short of decay, he looks over towards the shelves full of cartridges and utters magnetic fields. One of the better Jean-Michel Jarre albums. With one last gasp, his lifeless form slumps to the floor. With a thud, apparently a gigantic one. Okay, hello little droid. This is a Model DX cartridge retrieval unit. Its function is to retrieve and return cartridges from and to the storage unit. It is currently empty. Well, we know it's magnetic fields this time, not astral bodies. I mean, shit, what could possibly go wrong? We even get a nice close-up of Roger sitting in what I assume are disco lights or in the shape of memories. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Let us get in here and... oh no. And don't you worry, the timer, the self-destruct timer is still going. What this is of course, the copy protection. Now, luckily, I managed to salvage... where the fuck did I put it? Ah, right, here we go. The official manual, well, to the Kicks re-release anyway, but it does have all the relevant codes somewhere in here, I'm sure. It doesn't seem to. Maybe the CD-ROM startup guide does. I've now checked all my Space Quest game boxes. The copy protection is not in there, so I just went online and looked it up. Fine, no one cares, because the brilliant thing about this is that at one point Sierra re-released the Space Quest collection but forgot to include the copy protection for all of the games, really. Forgot to include it for Space Quest 1 VGA, forgot to include it for Space Quest 5, forgot to include it for Space Quest 6. Cartridge found, now retrieving. So they basically put all the copy protection information online on their website. So there is no shame in going online and just getting the copy protection information. Alright, let's mosey on after that terrible fiasco. You hear footsteps. Oh, that's fantastic. I love me some good footsteps. They're gonna appear up here. Hello. You are on the wrong level to do that. Oh, but they look so handsome. I have no idea what's going on with the Sarian design in this game. This looks mighty strange to me. They just look like Teletubbies with helmets on, but hey, Failing to notice anyone or anything in the room, the Sarian guards decide to check elsewhere. Way to go, Roger! Yeah, we certainly did good. Let's meet our crew. A cursory glance indicates that Dave, a lab technician, is dead. Normally you wouldn't be able to tell, except that his intestines are hanging out of the scorched opening where his abdominal wall used to be. You remember that he was forced to serve in the Xenon National Guard, but he wasn't bitter. Incidentally, a lot of these people are named after people who worked at Sierra. Jerry up here was Jerry Shaw, who did something, and Dave is a guy named Dave. This is Blanche, I believe. Yes, this is one of the head research scientists, Blanche. You wanted to get to know her a little better. However, seeing her ruptured chest wall reveals more about her than you were hoping to learn. Cool. Well, before more Sarians show up, let's just head on into this room, where something awful has happened. Well, apart from the two dead people in the room, yet another crewman's motionless body reduces the shine of the floor wax. Dang it! Always gotta mess up my work. Hugh doesn't look too neat and clean with his lungs hanging out like that. Oh, I wonder what's up with this dude then. Can we render some assistance perhaps? Also, why does this look like an octopus? The lifeless body of Randy, one of the lab technicians, lies sprawled at your feet. Those laser blasts are nasty. Why, you can't distinguish one exposed organ from another. And of course, the main attraction in the room. The base of the Star Generator research pedestal has apparently been trashed by the vandals who stole the generator. Probably should have looked at this one instead. This is the upper support for the Star Generator when it is affixed to the pedestal. Okay, he doesn't seem particularly shocked to, or inclined to explain to us why he's so shocked at the disappearance of the Star Generator. For that, you probably have to read the manual that I don't have, the one that actually has the story and copy protection in it. Anyway, did anyone notice the little flashy bit here? Yes. You find a small but heavy device affixed to the base of the Star Generator platform. It appears to be magnetic. That must be how the aliens have set the force field protecting the unit. I love protecting my unit with magnetism. Let's have it. Now, you will of course, maybe not remember from my original playthrough. Yes, I prayed the entire way through. Playthrough of the Sarian encounter. Hello? Oh, okay. You just go over there. I'll be fine. That I went into the Star Generator room and developed a speech impediment and did not, in fact, pick up anything. And that is because that little thing we just picked up is not in the EGA version. Its use will become apparent much later in the game. First of all, we shall have a look at this man. You hear footsteps. They're going to show up in a hurry. This is Stuart, one of your crewmates. He appears to be non-functional. You used to kid him about it when he was alive, but now it's true.
10 minutes.
Till detonation. Oh, it's not going to say that until I move out.
Till detonation.
Gotta move, because these guys show up fast. There we go. Back to safety. And now we can do it. So you only have a very short amount of time to head for this elevator before these guys show up. Actually, I should probably have turned up the speed, but there we go. They just enter the screen when you do. And we don't have a lot of time to look around here either, because we must skedaddle like the Pronto Men, because they will show up here in a fantastic hurry as well. Exit the screen, please, Roger. Now, there are no really obvious hiding places here except for that dark corner and this joystick. You can hide behind either of them. You didn't see me! Except you're looking straight at me, but fuck it. Failing to notice anyone or anything in the room, the Sarian guards fuck off elsewhere. Way to go, and off they fuck. Yes. As long as the sprite is obscured, then that's all good. And hey, who do we have here? On the screen is some green dude you've never seen the likes of. He seems to be talking, but the audio is out in this area of the ship. I think it's supposed to be Sludge Vohal. It's not been confirmed, or denied for that matter, but he's green in this. Also, I know, that's a joystick. The architects must have been low on oxygen when they came up with the design scheme for this compartment. It's a giant tribute to an ancient but still functional control device. I wonder if I should take my chances and see if I can actually beat this sequence without saving my game. Let's do that. I'm gonna regret this. Leave the screen, please, Roger. This is what happens when you play a game in windowed mode. We shall open the bay doors. Clickety-click. And we shall I should probably use the smell and taste icons some more, because there are some funny things hiding behind that as well. But let's just mosey on out of here first. By the way, that's a key card. Not entirely sure what they were thinking. This is a key card, fits an electronic lock someplace on the ARCADA. Don't entirely know why it's shaped like, I don't know, it's a rune stone maybe? Fuck it, it's very ornate. Let's just shove it in the air. Airlock elevator and get the fuck moving. You slide the key card into the slot. The lock releases with a satisfying click and the elevator doors slide open. Boom, boom. Alright, from this point on, we are safe from Sarian intrusion, so let's celebrate by licking the floor. Oh, dang. Lick the closet? Lick the... no, whatever the hell that is. Lick the console? Lick the door? Alright, I guess they didn't bother with that. How about sniffing? No sniffing? No sniffing. Can't blame me for trying. Okay, let's see what the hell this thing is. There is a button above the rectangular object below. You notice a drawer and a button. Well, let's fucking press the button. There we go. You notice some sort of gadget in the drawer. Mine now, bitch. I love me a good gadget. Ooh, a spacesuit hangs in the closet. A helmet sits on the top shelf. And here is, get ready, my favorite description in the entire game. This is Josh Mandel at his finest. Are you ready? It's a fishbowl! No, it's a spacesuit helmet. He even added an extra period at the end of that sentence, because it's that brilliant. Alrighty, Heidi, let's, well, we forgot to look at it. Silly me. The control panel has many confusing gauges on it. The only one you can read says, Caution, Launch Bay Decompressed. Fine, let's mess with it. There are no controls on this panel. It is populated only by gauges and readouts. You're not actually supposed to do anything. Also, I find the interior decoration here very suspect indeed. This is a giant-ass room, and there's just this little console panel in the middle of everything, and nothing else. Just the closet and this hunky thing. Well, fine. Fuck it. We're leaving. Slowly but surely. Beep beep. Hiss hiss. Leaving, leaving. Ah, there's that green dude again. Hello, green dude. We have plenty of time, by the way. 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Some alien anchor being is broadcasting a message about the stolen star generator. Well, I guess the question on everyone's mind is, can we lick him? The computer says no. Okay, can we talk to him? No. Alright, I did say this was kind of a rush job, didn't I? Ah, beyond the yawning doors lies the serenity of deep space. Let's fucking go there! Actually, for the first... I will now say that I have beaten this sequence. We are almost off the ship, so let's save our game here, because there is, of course, a death to be shown, and this game has some very, very brutal depictions of death, little death graphics in it. So let's just step off the cliff. Does that artificial gravity do the job or what? Also, a nice freeze frame there, Vohal. Alright, well, let's check out our new ride. A giant silver pill-shaped pod sits poised to fire, much like a bullet in the chamber of an ancient pistol. Okay. Ding, motherfucker. Let us always and forever remember to wear the seatbelt. And this kit here, you don't need that right now, but that is where they're hiding it. Remember in the original, you had to sort of search the cockpit, even though you were just, you know, you were viewing it through the windshield. Roger's head was right here. You had to search the cockpit because there was this kit hiding in it. Yeah, this is it. Kit with a T. We don't have children stowing away on this. Anyway, having a look around, this is the pod's instrument console. Dials, gauges, and a couple of controls fill out the board. I don't know what this is, but apparently it thinks it's the pod bay doors, where we can see a plethora of stars. Little joystick here. This lever causes forward propulsion of the pod when powered up, although we are not quite there yet. And this is use the force, Luke. Ah. This is the auto-nav button. When operative, it allows the pod to navigate to the closest habitable planet. This is the power button for the escape pod, and this button is not to be pushed at any time. So of course we're gonna do that. Anyway, let's power this sucker up first. Ding ding, motherfucker. Off we scoot. As you slide the throttle forward, you can feel the ARCADA start to shake. Giant beetle ship says, fuck this, I'm out, and boom goes the chicken. I feel like some Colonel tonight. Anyway, we're now floating aimlessly in space. As the soundtrack would attest to. Yes, this is heroic stuff. I have no idea who's off on the typewriter in the background, but I'm digging it. Well, we could either try the auto-nav button, but in the spirit of fun, let's not do the thing we're not supposed to. You have a feeling you shouldn't have pressed that button. Color cycling! Triangles! You will notice that the music is slightly off-key, and that is not a coincidence. Remember in the original it spat you into the lagoon moats around Castle Daventry? No? Well, ouch, I think we've got some serious organ damage here. All of them, of course, could be easily replaced in the time period from which you've just arrived. However, a quick scenery check reveals that you are now in the Dark Ages. The only transplant you'll get here is from carcass to spit over flame. As you draw a few final lungfuls of oxygen through your newly acquired sucking chest wound, you gleefully notice your final resting place is near beautiful Nottingham Castle, universally renowned for its inclusion in Sierra's conquests of the longbow. Oh my goodness, you're shocked to hear some highly inflammatory language making its way into your auditory canals. Must be some uncivilized ruffians in the nearby pub. Well, you're dead again. We even warned you not to press that button. You have no one to blame but yourself for having to sit through a plug for another fine Sierra product. Maybe you'll follow directions next time. Thanks for playing. And all that stuff. Well, you know what? I think we might just leave it here. In beautiful downtown medieval England. I was about to say Middle Earth. That's not quite where we are. Shut up. I hate fantasy. Anyway. Join me next time when we shall indeed do what the game actually expects us to do. As if it didn't expect us to press that button. But actually get on with the story, move on to Corona, and have some fun with aliens, and ORADs, and spider droids, and all matter of wonderful things. Sandworms, yes, we must see sandworms indeed. That will all happen next week. So until then, please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do. Do leave me a comment, because I do love the comments. Do you like this version? Do you hate it? Are you Scott Murphy? Please answer. We miss you, Scott. But until next time, I'll see you around the Chrono Stream.